here's the big story. Daily Wire's got the reporting. Now, this is Bondi or Bongino. Bongino won't remain at FBI if Bondi keeps jobs, sources say. First thing I want to do is shout out to Laura Loomer, who broke this story first thing this morning with reporting that Dan Bongino didn't show up and was threatening to quit. Daily Wire's Mary Margaret and Zach Jewell then were able to corroborate more of this reporting with additional sources. So this looks legit. Suffice it to say, Laura has had tremendous scoops in the administration. So as soon as I saw this, I was like, this one's going to be big. Dan Bongino, the deputy director of the FBI, is threatening to leave the bureau if Attorney General Pam Bondi remains on the job, a source close to Bongino tells the Daily Wire. Bongino is reportedly furious with AG Pam Bondi over her handling of the Epstein files, which has led many to believe he could walk away from the job that he took in February. The source close to Bongino said that he's effectively issued an ultimatum saying he won't work alongside Bondi. Bongino left a lucrative career in broadcasting to take the job in the Trump administration. He was not present at the FBI on Friday after a reported spat with the AG earlier this week over the Epstein situation. So apparently now we have this from Mary Margaret, who said, source close to DOJ says Kash Patel also wants Pam Bondi gone and that he'd consider leaving if Bongino leaves. Also, that there are more frustrations with other documents Bondi hasn't released. Confirming this from Shelby Talcott. Quote, Bongino in particular, one source said is frustrated. The DOJ at the start of the week declared that Epstein case effectively closed and determined that the accused sex trafficker died by suicide while awaiting trial with few further details shared. He wants more documents unsealed, the source added. So there are many conspiracy theories right now. One that I heard, this is interesting. Before the big, beautiful bill is passed, we're hearing all about the Epstein files. After the big, beautiful bill is passed, nothing to see here, folks. There's no client list and case closed. Prince Andrew, you're free to go. And so the theory is Trump went to deep state congressional individual staffers and perhaps the speaker and said, if you don't pass my agenda, we drop the Epstein files. So then they went and said, okay, fine. And now Trump is effectively using that blackmail to get his agenda rammed through. I have no reason to believe that's the case. I just thought it was a very interesting idea. Another conspiracy is that Dan Bongino and Kash, this is all part of their plan. And Pam Bondi is the patsy. Why? Well, Mary Margaret additionally reports, source close to DOJ leadership tells me, quote, Deputy AG Blanche, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino started drafting the released memo in early July and worked on it through the July 4th weekend. After providing some edits, Kash and Dan signed off on the strategy and contents. Director Patel wrote that the memo was good with FBI. So some people are now speculating. If that's true, they did themselves draft this whole strategy of an unnamed, unsigned memo and all of that stuff, but are now acting like it's an affront to them. The conspiracy theory is that they are going to put the blame on Pam Bondi for the botched release, force her to be fired, and then the more extreme version is the Epstein files have been damaged, destroyed, or lost because of Bondi. Wrap it up in a nice little ball, throw it in the trash, and then say, sorry, guys, we can't do anything about it. It was Bondi's fault.
What would be their motivation for that?
Well, if Trump, whatever's going on, when they come out and say Epstein killed himself, and they say there's nothing to see here, nobody believes it. If your intention is to not release this stuff, how do you do it? Especially when Trump said in his campaign he's going to do it. Everyone is demanding it. The story will not go away. It was the top trending story all week, no matter what they tried. They came out and announced they were investigating Brennan and Comey, and that went beep and then gone, and Epstein came back. So PR strategy wise, what would you do? Guys, we're going to need a patsy to blame. So who can we throw out the window? And then what you if you want to get real extreme with it, they could come out and say, guys, we had the files. Bondi destroyed them. We don't know why. And now no one can ever blame you again. You have centered all of the hate of Epstein to a single person, thrown him out of the administration, and anyone ever comes to you and you can be like, yeah, that's so terrible. Blame that person who did it.
Quite literally scapegoating.
I'm not saying there's any evidence that's true, though.
No, but the reason for speculation, I'm going to say, is how much of this is sort of post hoc rationalization by those of us who still have faith in the Trump administration after Pam Bondi specifically has screwed this up so badly at pretty much every stage of it. Because you can't come out and say, right, I have this massive pile of Epstein files on my desk waiting for me to sign off, and then go around on camera saying, right, well, I've got video evidence that he was abusing children, and then invite a bunch of influencers to the White House for photo ops for evidence on a child abuse case, like a global sex trafficking ring, that they then smile and take photos with, and then that turns out to be a nothing burger, and then turn around and said, well, yeah, there's absolutely nothing to this story, when literally everybody knows that the guy did not kill himself. Like, if you were going to pick one story to try and sweep under the rug, it's probably the absolute worst one, because nobody believes the official line on it. So how many of these post hoc rationalizations are to say, well, this is all one big, great 4D chess move, because Bondi has just screwed the pooch on all of this?
Yeah, it seems like she's rapidly emerged as the fall gal in this case. I mean, the base is absolutely furious. Like you said, you can't sweep this one under the rug. This is the big ticket.
I mean, if you've got this big story, Epstein and all of his clients, and they're demanding all the files you have, and you don't want to release them, how easy would it be to just accuse her of having hoarded, destroyed, or done something to them, and then no one can ever ask you again, and it's not your fault?
But
That's a PR play.
Bongino is known as like Mr. Integrity.
Yes, I agree.
And I think he made it very clear in the time before that if he had any opportunity, he would make this happen, and that he would not. I feel silly saying that he wouldn't lie to us, because I know on some level they can't tell us everything. But I just have a hard time believing that they would really be feeding us that big of a sandwich, so to speak.
Here's what I actually think. I think Dan is probably kept at somewhat of an arm's length on this. There's a video. I think we actually have the video. This is an old video where Dan says, let me play this video for you guys. We'll get it. We got it right here.
There's video that when you look at the video, and we will release, that's what's taken a while on this, we are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
I think what likely happened is Dan is told that by Pam, and he says, okay, good, so we're going to release this. Yes, this is the plan, we'll do it. He doesn't see the footage, and then he goes on TV and says this. Then when they release the footage, it's miserably offensive. It's like offensively stupid. There's a minute missing. There's people coming and going. And he's probably going, oh, my God. So now he's pissed, and he walks out and says, fire that lady. Because he trusts them in the release of this stuff, and then they screw everything up.
Who does he say that to?
Fire them?
Fire that lady.
Trump.
Right. So there's no way this all isn't happening without his involvement, right?
Oh, yeah.
So on some level, and you can imagine Bongino and Kash going to Trump and saying, we have a problem.
Yeah.
And him siding with them. And look, a lot of people end up in Trump's lives unhappy with Trump. And it's situations like this where he dismisses people, he uses them, he sets them up, and they're cast out if they're not useful to him. So this is all smelling of that kind of thing again. My bet is these guys will not leave. They're not going anywhere. But Pam Bondi seems to be really in danger.
Yep.
And remember, she wasn't the first pick, right?
At Gates.
Mm-hmm.
Well, them going to Trump would also explain why Trump was so annoyed when the reporter raised it at the press conference, because he's probably been having conversations about this behind the scenes.
There's no way he's not involved in it. He is, although Adam Kroll was pointing out the other day, he goes, Trump is a builder, and he's used to hiring subcontractors, and they've all got to be great, and they've got to be coming on time and under budget, and if they are not, they're out. Yep. And so he's used to doing this.
Something was definitely off at that meeting where Trump was like, are we still talking about that? I mean, he knows that everybody's talking about that. I think Trump is so masterful usually with social situations. I was actually surprised that he tried something that fell so flat. I rarely see him try something that falls flat. And that was thin, and it fell flat. There was something off in that meeting.
Well, he's been getting increasingly flustered in press situations, like the Fbomb right after the Iran-Israel situation. And so it's like, I'm a big Trump guy, obviously, but it's like a little concerning that he's having these moments where he's completely seems like out of control, or that situation's out of control.
I don't know if your foreign policy was the entire time playing daycare for like ethno-religious grudges that last thousands of years in the Middle East, I'd probably drop a couple of F-bombs.
Yeah, I'd crash out.
I disagree with both you guys. I think these were all carefully managed and carefully placed. The F-bomb and what he said at the cabinet meeting, he achieved his ends.
I mean, it's either that or he's firing warning shots.
What was his end then?
Not get the press off it. Just shut up for a minute.
Okay.
Just shut up. He doesn't have to go away forever. Just you people shut up so we can figure this out.
I mean, the way Trump does operate is he does like to fire off warning shots. So it's like that could have been directed at one singular person watching that interview. I mean, that's been happening for years with the way Trump operates.
I like the way you put that, though, Tomlinson, playing daycare for a bunch of...
That's the same with British politics at the moment. It's like you've just got to play daycare with grown men's egos to stop each other devouring each other. So I can imagine Trump, who just wants to build things, getting very frustrated.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.